when you get in a committed relationship, and I know many women listening are just wanting to get to that place, but think about the relationships in your past where you were in a committed relationship. You have to understand how you contributed to the problems. Mm-hmm. You see, the whole thing is to create a sense of safety and ease, that I'm worthy and I can create the relationship of my dreams. And if you don't know how you contributed to the problems in your relationship, then you're always going to think it was just the wrong person and they're the wrong person and they're blaming them and they weren't right and they did this and they did this. And that's all true. That's all true. But you need to see how you contributed to that. Okay. There's always two people that create a problem. And usually you get in a committed relationship. That's really where women step it up and they start giving more, because that's where men step it up and give less. So man, I've done the dating thing. Now we're having sex and we're in a committed relationship. Okay. I can let go. I don't have to try. It's like these couples that get married and they stop caring about their health and their wellness and their appearance. Okay, we're married, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. I look great, and for my age, 65 years old, I don't do it for my wife. I do it for myself, okay? It's just I want to live a long, healthy life. I want to feel sexy, and I want to look in the mirror and feel sexy, and that comes from health. It doesn't always look by looking like a model. I'm not some Superman looking, but for my body type, I'm healthy, and that is sexy. And if you want a sexy life, you have to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm sexy. But again, that's for men. And for women, they actually need help to feel sexy. But you need to start by feeling, I can be sexy. But a man can take you to higher sexy, and that's by his doing things for you. And that's, once again, practicing the skills of getting him to do things for you. He says, what do you want to do? You don't say, I don't know, what do you want to do? You say, well, here's a few things I'd like to do. It's not, he says, oh, what do you want to do? Most women go, I don't know. What do you want to do? Stop. Now you're making him doing what he wants. Don't do what he wants. Even in the beginning, he wants to do this. If you've got something you do better, tell him, well, we can do that, but I prefer this. This is what I really like. If we go there, I'd feel really good. I'd love that. And then he kind of goes, well, I don't want to do that, but if it makes you happy, then I want to do it. Now, let's just stop right there. That is such a confusing concept, and it probably went over many women's head. He'll say, do you want to go? Let's say that I would like to go have a picnic on the mountain. Okay, that's what I'd like to do. He said, yeah, we can have a picnic on the mountain, but there's a racetrack, and I've really been waiting to go on the racetrack and to see this, and my favorite person. And you, and in your mind, you're thinking, oh, okay, well, if we go to the picnic, he's going to resent going on the picnic because he really wants to go there. And you could even say, well, is there a part of you that wants to go on the picnic? No, I'd rather not go on the picnic. I want to go on the racetrack. Now you say a narcissist for that? No, you asked him, what do you want to do? Do you want to go on the picnic? No, I don't want to go on a picnic. Well, do you want to go on the racetrack? Yeah, I really want to do that. Okay, no, that's just what he wants. You want to go on the picnic. But in that situation, you imagine that if you insist on the picnic, that he's going to resent you for going on the picnic. And who wants to go on a picnic with somebody when they don't want to be on the picnic? That's what women are always saying. I don't want to go on a picnic if you don't want to go on the picnic. Right. I want to do what you want to do. No, you want him to want what you want. But men don't always want what you want. So how do you get what you want? Here's the secret. Understand men. This is such a breakthrough. I say to my wife, I don't want to go on the picnic, but if it's what you want and it makes you happy, then I want to go on the picnic. Now, that doesn't make sense to women. How could I suddenly change what I want? Because I don't want to go on the picnic. But if I know taking you on a picnic is going to make you happy, what I want more than the racetrack is to make you happy. Therefore, if taking you on the picnic makes you happy, I now want to take you to the picnic, and I will enjoy the picnic as much as you enjoy it because it's making you happy. And that's not a facility that women have. Okay? It's like woman says, okay, I'll go to the racetrack for you. And oh, if it makes you happy, I'll do that. And you can do that for a little while. And then you're going to start resenting him and saying, we only do what you want to do. We only do what you want to do. Well, men are fine doing what you want to do if it makes you happy. If it doesn't make you happy, then he's not going to be happy for sure. But part of masculinity, part of testosterone is all about success. It's not about what do I get. It's not about me. It's about me being successful doing something for you. And that's what wins a man's heart. He bonds with you. The more he can do things to make you feel happy. And that means even giving up what he wants. He gives up what I want to do. I'm going to do what you want to do, which makes you appreciate him more. I mean, don't you appreciate somebody more if they really wanted to do something, but they love you so much, they're going to do what you want? That's real love. See, it's like I'm making you more important than me right now. But then the balance to that in a man's life is not what it is for a woman. See, a woman goes, I'll do something for you. It's not for me, but now you have to do something for me. And that's reciprocity. That's how women's hormones are associated. For a man, it's I'm going to do something for you, not for me. If it's successful, I am so happy and fulfilled. I'll do it again and again. And I'm also going to take time to do things for myself. I've earned the right to have my own things I want to do. So that's how I go work for my family. I come home and I do what I want to do for me. And then I also do what I want for my wife and my children. It's all this balance of work, giving to my wife and children, and giving to me. And that balance has to be there for men and that has to be there for women. And that's what Lauren teaches women, is how to balance the we time with the me time. Single women are all doing me time. Then they get in a relationship. They go into we time and they give up me time. And now you become needy and clingy and too attached and dissatisfied. And whenever, ever you're dissatisfied, a big part of that is you're too needy. That's what we started out with, is demanding more than what's available to you. A happy, fulfilled person is not ever demanding more than what they have. And at the same time, they want more. Now, that's a paradox for women. Yeah. It's hard to understand. But we have to just say it again, which is, I'm happy with what I have and I want more. That comes back to my basic dating theme, which is don't look for your soulmate. Create a series of dating experiences where you're able to see what you like and what you don't like. You're feeding your consciousness with what I like and what I don't like, not because you're writing a list or doing a therapy session. You're actually experiencing it. What I like, what I don't like, in the context of soon, in a year, the right person is going to come into my life with almost everything I like and almost everything I don't like is not there. And I'll give you an example of that. My daughter, Lauren, she's 31 now, and she's been looking for a house for the last 3 years. And almost every Sunday when I'm in town, we will go look for houses, and her partner. And we're all looking, and we look at the house and we see what she likes and what she doesn't like. And I said, you just keep doing this and you'll see the right house will show up and the money will be there for it as well. It will just happen. And she trusts her dad. She says, all I have to do is just keep looking and say what I like and what I don't like, what I like and what I don't like, what I like and what I don't like. And it happened. She found the perfect house of what it's amazing to hear. She needed a certain number of rooms. She needed the room here. She needed this. Everything needed to be exactly the right. And then she found the house that has that and something more. She couldn't even believe it was there, that she didn't even imagine. And, that's what Oprah said. I remember Oprah saying, if you just stick with trusting and doing what you can do, move one step at a time, you will be rewarded more than you can imagine. But part of that whole journey is, what do I like? What do I not like? Without this emotional charge of, I'll never get what I want. And, I didn't get what it was, and being critical about it. No, it's just seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, go on another date, what you like, what you don't like, constantly appreciating what you like. But you can't fully appreciate what you like if you're not also looking at what you don't like. But you can't even see what you like if you're in that hyper vigilant state of, I want to buy this house. So I told her, we're not going to buy any houses. We're just going to keep looking and looking and looking till you get very clear about what you like and what you don't like. And it's all in the realm of like and don't like. There's not a lot of attachment to either, but this is what would be good. This would be good. And then bang, it appears, and it's at the right time, right when she could afford it. I mean, it was like amazing, the timing and the perfection of it. The way I found my house, and then I'll go into how I found my wife. But, it's finding the right person is another big question. How do you find a person, start dating? But once you're dating, you're committed. That's stage 3. Stage 4 is this really the right person for you to get married to? Is it a soulmate? Do you really stick with this and grow with this person? And, you use the house analogy. I mean, for me, I was looking for a house, and when I could afford more money for the house I'm in now, I've been here now 20 years. The way I looked for 3 years, I was looking every house. I know almost every house in Mill Valley because it's all been for sale. And I go in, I like this, I don't like this. And maybe it was a couple of years for me. And then finally what I did is I went And I said, I'm going to go find the best place in town that I would like to live in the most. And I went there and I saw the house that I would like the most. And I went and knocked on the door, and the house was not on the market, but it was for sale. And it was, for a certain number of reasons, it was for sale for about half price. So because I went and found the house and called the person in another state and said, can I buy your house? I got it for half of what maybe a third less than what it was worth. Simply because I was ready. I knew what I want. I looked at it and said, you are the one. But it was because I knew what I didn't like and what I like. And all the things I didn't like was not like I resent or I don't trust or that's awful. There wasn't any negativity associated with it. So again, coming back to our basic theme you asked me to start out with, which is create a series of positive dating experiences, taking note of what you didn't like and taking note of what you do like. And keep the intent to keep finding a partner that will have everything that you like. And coming from this non-needy place and watching that wanting to jump into bed right away and slowing that whole thing down, but always reassuring the man that the feelings are there, but you're just going to go slow. And that's one place I say it's okay to fake it. If the right guy, you may not feel any sexual attraction right away. And if he's like making moves and stuff, but don't you feel sexual towards me? And you can give him a little comfort and say, yes, I would love to have sex with you. I'm just not ready. And in your mind, you're telling the truth because you would say, I would love to have sex with you if those feelings were there. But you don't have to tell him those feelings aren't yet there. It's a little bit implied, which I need to go slow and I'm ready to go. But if those feelings are there, you can certainly say it, but then hold back till you have bonding with the heart and the mind and maybe a little bit more on the spirit. Spiritual bonding is where you share the same values. Mental bonding is often where you have differences, different point of view that's interesting to you. If somebody's just thinking just like you, it's not interesting. If something is adding something to you, and often the right person for you doesn't do everything the same as you. The chemistry of opposites attract. If you're looking for someone who's just like you all the time, it would be boring. And it also doesn't help your soul to grow. It's learning to challenge, to integrate something different into your life, which means that there'll always be an attraction. And it starts out as you find them interesting. And then it's on the level of the heart where you start finding things which are similar and where you share things. But for man, that's the level where you need to do things and you see you make an impact. Another little insight into men, and we're in the fifth stage here where a man proposes. I'm with Bonnie and I'm thinking, maybe she's the one, but I wasn't sure. And I was ready and I was looking. There's an old saying here I want to point out, which is men really can be with the right woman, but they don't propose because they're just not ready. And typically men that have many partners, the one they pick to marry is just the one that was there when he was ready to get married. So there's a place inside of men where they have to feel inside of themselves that they have enough to provide for a woman's happiness. They have to have a series of positive experiences where they feel confident that they can make a woman happy. And one time I was with a couple, they were together 9 years and he wouldn't propose and she loved him so much. But what had happened is they'd gone to see they'd gone on this tour of Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and she was just enamored with all the big houses and the beautiful lawns. And she was saying, oh gosh, I bet they have a swimming pool in the back with a diving board and they must have beautiful chandeliers. And he was hearing her, loving all those things, thinking she deserves that. And I'll never be able to provide that. So I'm not going to marry her. And so he's always saying, I love you and everything, but you deserve better than me. And so that's deep inside of a man. He has to feel his worth that he can provide for you. And if he doesn't feel that experience, he doesn't get the confidence and the motivation to make that commitment. In my own life, I'm with Bonnie and I've been with many women and I liked her more than all of them, but I wasn't ready to make a commitment, but I wanted to get married. And so then I remember I was taking her on a date to a resort 2 or 3 hours away. And I'm driving. I took the wrong turn. And instead of being in California, we're now going in towards Las Vegas. And and I'm like, oh my God. And I realized I was late. I was wrong. I was lost. I pulled over the side of the road. I panic inside. I'm thinking, oh, she's going to be so upset because we're not going to make the dinner. We're not going to make the talk, wherever we're going to go. She's really wanting to do that. And other women have always gotten so upset about these things. And So I pulled over the car, sort of dreading the moment where I had to tell her, I think we're in the wrong state. And I pulled over and I pulled out the map and to see what my wrong turn was. And I just said to her, I said, well, I don't know exactly where we are, but I'll look at the map and we'll get back on the road, waiting for the attack to happen. And she says, yeah, I don't know where we are either. But this is the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen.
Oh.
And I just melted, just like you just melted a little bit. And I just, if you could see what I did mentally, I got down on my knees and put my hands up to God. And I said, thank you, God. This is the woman I want to marry. And ironically, it's because she overlooked the mistake that I made. And that was a big thing for me, is to feel that I know I'm not perfect, but if I could still be loved, even though I'm not perfect, then I'm set for life. And that's what men are afraid of. They're afraid that, when you get to know them, you're not going to love them as much. And to know that I could show one of my weaknesses, which is getting lost and getting there late. And I know she depended on it, and she just made being with me and seeing the sunset more important. That was a kind of love that I wanted to marry. And I think every man is looking for that, is to feel that unconditional love, that acceptance, that he is still loved. But also another one we need as men is appreciation, which is we make mistakes, but when we do it right, we get a lot of appreciation. And when you can be accepted for being not perfect and appreciated for what you do provide, then you get the really big juice for men that causes men to totally bond. And they feel like a hero, and that's called trusting a man. When you give a man the message that you trust him, that stimulates more testosterone than anything. I mean, think about the hero. The hero is somebody you can depend on, somebody you can trust. And the problem with trust is that women think to trust a man is dependent upon him being perfect. So women will put men on a pedestal, and then when he falls off the pedestal, she goes, oh, I can't trust you. I go, no. You can trust him to be a good driver. You can trust him to do this. You can trust him to do this. But in this situation, maybe you can't trust him. But so many other areas you can trust him. And that trust erodes if you demand perfection to trust someone's doing their best and to discover what you can depend upon a man for. And I'll share something that it's my wife's wisdom. Most women will relate to this when it's spoken into words. But it clarifies what you need in a man today. Because remember, I started out is don't so much look at all his qualities on the outside, how much money he makes, how he looks, how he dresses, what car he drives, all this. That's important, but more important, how does he make you feel inside? And the feeling you're looking for is the feeling my wife described about me. And this is very insightful. This is we've been married now 32 years. And I'll just toss in, because you're going to hear a lot of men give advice. And just with the men who are single, take it with a grain of salt. I remember once Cosmo had an article, 32 eligible bachelors at 35 years old. What do they want? Women need to know. Yeah, give those men what they want and they'll stay bachelors. You want to find men who are married happily and find out what they want. They expect. It's good. Not to say that a single guy can't teach you things. It's good to know how they think and feel, but it's also good to know from somebody who's made it work over a lifetime. And also who's failed. I was married before. I've been married to Bonnie 32 years. Before that, I was married to Barbara. We were married for 2 years. I made all these mistakes. I got married to the wrong woman in that case. She seduced me. I didn't seduce her. That's how I know this whole thing about giving more. She gave me 10 times more than I gave her. It was irresistible. I didn't have to do anything in that marriage. Okay. She supported me. She gave me a house. She kneeled before me. She took notes. She helped me. She promoted me. She was like, how can you say no to that? And totally available sexually. I didn't have to do anything. And I fell in love with her. It was my female side that fell in love with her. Bonnie I had already tried to win Bonnie over and I failed. I tried to marry Bonnie, my present wife, before Barbara, my first wife. Bonnie wouldn't marry me. I didn't do a good enough job. But I learned in my first marriage, understanding differences between men and women. I started learning, my mistakes here. Took a year, and then called up Bonnie and said, okay, I'm a new guy. You'll see. And seduced her. I earned her love. And now I have the confidence, no matter what, I know how to earn her love. And she loves me. It's not like all dependent on her. I know that I have what it takes to win her love over. And so I bond with her. It's like a job. that I do, that I know I can do it, as opposed to it was just luck or something. That's from the man's point of view. From the woman's point of view, look at it as luck. Just, aren't you lucky that this guy pursued you, another guy pursued you, and then you were able to pick from all the guys, you didn't pick. It's up to you to pick. It's up to them to earn their way in. And you can't pick the right guy until you get a series of positive dating experiences where your estrogen's so high that you're not so attached to, this being the right person. And then he'll do something, he'll say something, and it clicks. And then you just go, he's the one. And so many women, they didn't know he was the one until he earned it. And those are the ones that tend to last the longest. I'll just put it that way. And having said all of that, I'm talking about extremes. So there could be the case where you feel totally turned on to a guy and he could be the right guy. I mean, I'm saying that's not possible. But if you have a history, this is where it's being turned on to a man right away and then he doesn't call back or he's the wrong guy. If you're one of these many women that come to me and say that, why do I pick the wrong guys? The guys that turn out to be drug addicts, guys turn out to be liars, guys turn out to be married, guys that turn out to be committed to being single. Why am I attracted to those guys? Then you have a neediness inside where you give sex to get men, whether you're conscious of it or not. And that's why you get turned on. And so what you have to know, if you've had that experience repeatedly, then for absolute certainty, if you're turned on right away, it's the wrong guy. Run to the other room. Don't even talk to him. You want the guy that you can run from, who's running after you. That's what you want. You got to go. You got to pick. You're the boss here. You choose who gets in there. And there's a lot of requirements, and you take your time to get there. Anyway, just giving you some reassurance that you're not gonna lose out if you don't run after men. There will be. You create a space for men to run after you when you're not running after them. It will happen. You just have to know that when it starts to happen, the guy's not going to be good enough because you're not yet in that place where your estrogen's high enough, your receptivity is there, your trust is there. So you're still in that hypercritical state. When women are too far on their male side, the female is weak. The female is the part of you that can pick the right person, can appreciate someone for their perfections along with their imperfections. And you're not settling. You're finding the right guy for you.
It feels so good just to hear you say what you just shared, which is this message of hope, and also this message that as women, we can relax a bit, we can lean back and allow things to happen. We don't have to be working so hard and have that hypervigilance you were talking about. We can enjoy the journey and not just be solely focused on the destination, right?
That's beautifully said. If you can give me 2 minutes more, I have to finish one story I realized about what women's real needs are. I think my wife said it perfectly when it was around 23 years into our marriage. She said, I was asking her about me as a husband. What did she think? And she says, well, you're definitely not a perfect man, but you've given me the greatest gift any woman could ever want. I said, what's that? And she said, I know with absolute certainty that I'm not perfect either. And I can say and do things that really upset you. But whenever you're upset, you stop talking, you go to your cave, you do some magic, and you always come back loving me more. Oh. And I know there's nothing I can say or do that will push you out of my life. That is the need for security, the need for safety is still there. It's just that for the woman, it's just that now it's more of an emotional safety that she can be more authentic. She can be both her masculine side and her feminine side, her most beautiful side and her not most beautiful side. And that man will always come back for more. But that's where we have to learn the skills of not engaging in arguments and fights. And that's a whole nother subject that can be found in Beyond Mars and Venus is my most recent book on that one. But this is the key. It's the most important thing, women, you want from a man is to feel that you're safe to be all that you are. That's what's going to help you grow in love for a lifetime.